The Maniatoto Plain is crisscrossed by pine shelter belts that for decades have provided stock with shelter from the wind. But these shelter belts require ongoing, expensive maintenance. Decades ago, farmers were encouraged to plant Pinus contorta as a shelter species. We now know that these shelter belts can pose a huge environmental risk. Seeds from these trees have spread into the mountain ranges that surround the Maniatoto, where they are threatening to overrun tussock grasslands. These wilding pine trees also draw huge amounts of water from the catchment. We can't undo the mistakes of the past, but we can make informed decisions now to transition away from problematic shelter belts. Working in conjunction with the Central Otago Wilding Conifer Control Group, a number of farmers in the region are now tearing out their old contorta shelter belts and replacing them with natives. Native shelter belts are fast-growing, relatively low maintenance, and also improve biodiversity in the area. With the help of Te Aki Maniatoto, this shelter belt was planted in the Gimmerburn region by farmer Mark Dowling.
Well, in the past we've put in a lot of Pinus radiata belts, but there's a lot of maintenance with them as they grow. We've found snow especially takes the branches off and breaks them off and land on fences, and then the nor'wester too can do damage as well. So this is a new idea here with Te Aki to have these more maintenance-free shelter belts. And of course, with the native plants, I'm sure we're going to sequester a bit of carbon dioxide as well, so it's a win-win all round.
Further up the valley in the sticks, farmer Tim Kensington ripped out an old contorta shelter belt, which was sending seeds high up into the rock and pillar ranges, and replaced it with this low-maintenance, biodiversity-rich native shelter belt.
We haven't really got much natives on the place, so it's quite nice to start planting a few more around the place, yeah. It's mainly just the low cost of it really, and being wet a place that we've got here. I think the swamp flax that we'll put in with it should grow pretty well really.
On Paetiaroa Station, Te Aki Maniatoto has subsidised farmer Charlie Hoare to put in this enormous 1.5 kilometre native shelter belt. Planting pine on this high exposed ridge would create a huge risk of seed spreading in the wind, so natives are the perfect choice here.
Well, obviously it's pretty exposed here, we're on a bit of a ridge, there's lots of hills and that, but the shelter belts obviously helps for lambing and a wee bit of shade when the sun comes out and it's hot in the middle of the summer, yeah.
I mean, all shelter belts are slightly different, and I think that's the really neat thing about the shelter belts is that you can tailor them to what the landowner wants, you know, whether or not that is strictly shelter or whether or not they want it for birds or bees or insects. Yeah, just working with the landowner and what they want to achieve. Flax, yeah, real classic, real great shelter. Yeah, that forms, you know, nice, bushy, clumpy, yeah, good shelter. Toi toi, same thing. You know, yeah, a lot of people will just simply use the flax and toi toi together because it does form a nice, wide shelter. I've got a cabbage tree here, so obviously you might not think of it as traditional sort of shelter because it obviously has like quite a trunk going up, but I mean, yeah, also forms a nice biodiversity corridor, and that's one of the goals here, I guess, for Te Aki as well, was helping to get some of that biodiversity from the hill country down to the wetlands as well. So we have included a couple of things that will help bring the birds back into the shelter belt as well.
In 20 years' time, I'm hoping that it's you know, providing really good shelter and it's sort of everything's growing, healthy, vibrant, and then be nice to see the odd native bird. We've seen one tui and a couple of wood pigeons, so it'd be nice to see a few more of them floating around if possible.
Anyone interested in putting in a native shelter belt should contact Te Aki Maniatoto. We are currently growing shelter species for spring and autumn planting, but get in quick as these won't last long.